to episode 30, Hospitality Tech Show. Michael Woodson here. Be back with you. And together with my co-host, Susan Graves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have the privilege of having a person with a cool name. I'm going to say that. Her name is, excuse me?
Sorry to interrupt you, but it got cut off a little bit. Can you just start that introduction again?
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
Welcome. Michael Woodson here. Pleasure to be with you. Episode 30 of the Hospitality Tech Show. My name is Michael Woodson, and together with my co-host, Susan Graves, we are happy and privileged to have a person with such a cool name, Naz Aydin. And she is the co-founder and CEO of Destination AI Forum, the leading conference and educational platform dedicated to innovation and AI's impact on the hospitality industry. She's hosting conferences and industry programming. And she brings together hospitality owners, their operators, their brands, the technology innovators, and investors to collaborate on the future of hospitality AI. With her expertise in hospitality asset management and investments, Naz is passionate about creating practical business-focused conversations around emerging technology and industry transformation. Naz holds a bachelor's degree from the all-famous Cornell University in upstate New York, School of Hotel Administration, and an MBA from the New York University Stern School. So welcome aboard, Naz. And Susan, are you with us? Susan.
I am with you. It's great to be here with Naz and Michael. We always have a great time with our guests, and we're going to have a great time with Naz talking about Destination AI and all tech.
Well, before we do that and bring Naz onto the stage, just want to thank our sponsors for the opportunity to be here and give us the privilege of being and be able to bring this type of programming to you in our podcast. The Workforce Montgomery, also the Integrity Restaurant Group, the Integrity, they've been very generous to us, and also IBM. Thank them very much. And welcome, Naz. What a privilege to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat with you both today.
So great. And one of the things that's exciting is that really you're coming on a time when AI is just exploding in this industry. And of course, in hospitality, who traditionally, as you know, was slow to adopt technology. And now they're like going gangbusters with this technology and everything they do because of the guest experience, guest expectations, et cetera, and also for competitive edge as well. And yeah, just in this conversation, I would really want us to open up, really get some insight from you. And of course, you can do the same for us. And so, yeah, take it away, Sue.
Yeah. Hey, Naz, great to have you join us. Michael and I are all about conversations around hotel technology. And I'm just curious, how did you get interested in creating this? I mean, the AI boom, and here you are. Like, what drove your interest? Give us the background. Everybody wants a great story.
Yeah, I'll definitely share the background. And Michael, I totally agree with you that this year there's been so much interest specifically in how hotels can adopt AI. And I've been doing this conference since 2024, and I can see a really noticeable difference in how interested both hoteliers are and vendors in improving their services with AI. And I actually had kind of an interesting stat to share about how more kind of on the consumer side, but in 2024 and 2025, 40% of consumers used AI to plan trips. And in 2026, it's up to 56%, excuse me. So it's interesting. It was kind of stagnant in 2024 and 2025 with the adoption, but this year there really is so much growth. So I'm kind of seeing the same thing as you. And then, yeah, Sue, to answer your question, so I was working in hotel asset management before starting the conference and became really interested in how technology can, I guess, better improve efficiencies in the portfolio. And I ran some kind of portfolio-wide initiatives. And this was, I guess, 2023. So it was kind of around the time where people were starting to play around with AI, learn about kind of what's coming next, and start using ChatGPT, Claude, all of that. And I thought it was really interesting and knew it was going to have a massive impact on every industry. So I did an article for Hotels Magazine on how AI will reshape the industry, interviewed a bunch of people, including tech vendors, VCs, and some hoteliers too. And it was exciting to see what was in the works and what they thought or how they thought AI would impact the industry. And then that article is kind of what led to the conference, and it's just been growing every year. So
Mhm.
it's been a lot of fun and meeting so many great people through it and learning a lot too.
That's
That's
good.
awesome.
No,
That
that's really
all about an article, and then you got some reach outs. That's great.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
congratulations.
so
Go
let
ahead,
me
Mike.
ask you this: you imagine yourself being in this industry this way when you were sitting in the classroom at Cornell?
Definitely not. It's kind of funny to see myself in this position. I always really enjoyed kind of planning things and bringing people together, but I thought it was more of just something I did in my personal life. So it's kind of funny that now it's what I'm doing full time. But yeah, definitely didn't expect this. But it's been really great.
Oh, oh, great. So let's talk about the show. I mean, the conference. I mean, in the sense you've started it, it's grown. It's in its third year, you say,
Yeah, third
conference,
year.
Yeah.
and you've seen that's significant into that niche and is growing, growing, growing organically. Um, Give us a perspective. Like, wow, how did this it happen? Wow, but I didn't think it was going to happen this way. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's really great to see the growth. I mean, the first year I would say the conference, so in the first year was 2024, and it's every year in September in Washington, D.C. And so the first year, a lot of the conversations were just people wanting to learn more and kind of talking about what's coming. And then I would say last year we grew more than double the attendees from the first year. And I think the conversations were more kind of these are the things we're trying out with AI, but it was too early to
Mm,
share any kind of like concrete results. And so I think in the 2026 conference, there'll be a lot of concrete results. We'll have a case, or sorry, a showcase where companies can present case studies with both hotel chains and management companies, ownership groups about initiatives they've run and what ROI they're seeing. And I'm excited to see the results this year. I think, like we kind of talked about a few minutes ago, there's been a ton of interest and a lot of momentum in the hotel industry this year. So it's really exciting to see. And then in terms of the actual conference growth, this year we're expanding to a day and a half, almost 2 full days, and introducing some new formats beyond just panels and presentations. We're doing the showcase, like I mentioned, which will be 6 or 7 case studies. We're doing a AI startup competition. So if there's any students listening who are interested in applying, it's on the website, and it's meant for companies building AI products specifically for the hospitality industry. And the applications are open through June 30th. And then we're also doing some more roundtable style discussions and workshops and more networking events too. So this year I think there'll be a lot more to do at the conference, and it'll be a big year of growth.
and how's the sponsorships going? I mean, and everybody diving into. You're finding that they're willing to dive in. You know, they're seeing the value.
Yeah, definitely seeing the value, and the industry's been very supportive too.
Excellent. So let me
Yeah.
let's. I'm going to throw some interesting statistics I came across in preparation for this show.
Okay.
AI adoption by hotel chains. It says here statistics: 78% of hotel chains already deploy AI systems. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think I'm not
78%.
surprised by that.
Mm.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. I want to hear that. I mean, you're not surprised.
No, I'm
Um,
not surprised. I mean, I think all the major hotel chains realize the impact it can have both on the corporate level and then also on the property level. I would think it's even higher at this point.
yeah, well, what about this expansion plans? There's another one. 89% of hotel chains plan to expand AI investments within the next 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, not surprised by that one too. I think it makes perfect sense, and it also makes sense that groups kind of wanted to wait and see how things play out before making,
Mm.
big investments too.
Well, in the beginning of the show, I kind of said that they're just really going gangbusters this year with AI. But here's a stat that just puzzled me. It said only 7% of hotel groups have a comprehensive AI strategy.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very small number. I think it's understandable though, because things are changing so quickly and it's hard to have your pulse. And I would say to have a comprehensive AI strategy is so hard since it's really changing every day and could have a different definition every day.
Mhm.
But I think in the next couple years, that'll be a much higher number.
Yeah, you think? Well, I think six. As we go, here we are, like going into June. I think in the next 6 to 7 months, you're going to see people get on board. It's it. Here, 3 years in with AI, the anniversary, and now that agentic AI is doing its thing, people getting agents. They're reshifting their workforce to accommodate. You're bringing in technology in different ways, whether it be in the food and beverage area, whether it be and this is an area that I've talked about on several shows, robotic technology. But over to you, Sue.
Yeah, hey, I was reading the article, so I might misquote this, but it was out this week on FocusWire, and I actually put a LinkedIn post together on it. But Expedia Group, so it's while the brands are slowly adopting in many ways, and they want case studies, and they're going to do it slow. You got the OTAs, once again, like Expedia, registering 183% revenue growth, all in AI. So does it feel like brands at some point are still too slow and, OTAs are building the plane while they fly it? Or what does that look like to you, because wouldn't hotels love to have that kind of growth year over year?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And yeah, it's crazy to see how quickly the OTAs have jumped on all of this. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's no secret that the brands are adapting a bit slower than them. I'm not sure how it'll play out. Maybe they just have the advantage right now, but really, really not sure. What do you think?
I don't know. I think the OTAs are winning again. The problem is that such a large percentage of reservations are going to the OTAs, and that's costing us. That's creating a significant gap in margins, specifically sales and profit for guests feeling comfortable with utilizing OTAs, which not a bad thing. But if I'm a hotel owner, I want to have them direct book. And so what does that look like from a margin standpoint? How do the hotel brands steal that share back when, once again, we've got Expedia leading, the OTAs leading? And I have to give them a lot of credit. Frankly, I have to give them a lot of credit. They're jumping out there, they're doing it, and they're not doing anything that hotel brands couldn't do. I just often wonder, why are we lagging? And once again, OTAs are leading and then taking more and more profit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm curious to see the stats on that because I was just playing around with ChatGPT and asking it to recommend some hotels in different markets and seeing if the link would take me to the direct website or to an OTA website. And most of them did take me to the direct website, but it's interesting how some did and some didn't. So I'm curious to see kind of the results comparing the two.
I think it's because of data analytics. I think that they got in
I think
early
you're right too.
they had that data in a data lake more so better than the hotels themselves. I mean, before it was okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, customer loyalty, right? And they had that. But I think that the trends and looking at it every which way possible, the OTAs were ahead of that, and that's why they're winning now. So that ability to understand the customer, gather the attributes and of their customers, the chains are now having to play catch up.
I
And
totally agree on the data side.
yeah, and it's all about the data, and that's what they're really building on, because with good governance and using that to their benefit. So that's when you see that the booking.coms and Expedia and everybody winning and getting their bookings from us.
Yeah, I was going to add, when we talk about data, I completely agree. It sounds like we're all in agreement there, and OTAs have gathered the data, but I feel like from a data architecture standpoint, some of that data might be incorrect. So correcting that, you would want people to know the correct data coming directly from the source of truth, which would be the hotel, right?
Itself,
Not
yes.
the OTA. So number one, how do you get them transferred over there? Number two, I guess, and I'm asking kind of a loaded question here, but what are your thoughts on the SEO versus GEO? And do you think SEO is going to be around a long, long time, or do you think we're going to rapidly advance the GEO?
Yeah, that is a tough question. I do see things changing really quickly. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know people say like SEO is dead. I don't think it's quite there yet, but definitely in the next couple years, I could see everything being AI based. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I agree with that. I think that, and I don't think the next couple of years, I really think this time next year, it's really moving. Agentic technology is moving in a rapid pace. I think as we turn from the last quarter of this year into 2027, we're going to see an explosion in that the SEO, but it'll be all AI driven for based on trends, etc., and analyzing the data with the agents constantly monitoring it out there and adjusting accordingly. I definitely see that.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. So let's take it in another area. We talk about hotels, all right, hospitality. Hospitality goes beyond. There's the airline business, and there's the ships, the travel, the leisure, and there's been an uptick on people now, wanting to take a cruise. Why is that? What do you think? The same applies, right? Analytics, people now, the trends, etc., using AI to do their bookings on the OTAs, etc. Have you been looking at that beyond the hotels?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's a funny time to bring up cruises too with the hantavirus outbreak. It
Yes.
doesn't sound appealing to me right now. Um, but yeah, I think people just want different types of experiences, and there's so much data to prove that younger
Yeah.
generations want kind of more like boutique style hotels
Right.
and unique
Mm-hmm.
experiences and feel like locals, whether it's through like vacation rentals or different types of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing, especially since you work with tons of students?
Well, for me, students are looking not. They ask about, okay, what's beyond when said when someone says hospitality, they think of a hotel automatically, and I say to them, well, I beg to differ. There's other things. There's cruise lines. There's airlines, right? There's the food and beverage aspect. There's lounges in an airport, right? There's all kinds of things in the ecosystem of hospitality that you can get into, even on the technology product side, and get them to think about that, from that lens into the industry.
Yeah.
It's like you can be in the industry to out, using some, getting to know Oracle, Opera. We know that system sitting in the back room, right? Which is changing. But the point being is that, hey, expanding your horizon. And this is where I'm hoping on this show, as we get more sponsors and bring the product people in to talk about their products and really drive home the solution. But also there's a job in them to understand hospitality when they study hospitality from that lens into the hospitality industry. Different view. You're in it indirectly. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, I love that. And I do think that a lot of different types of experiences are trying to become more hospitable. Like you mentioned, the airport lounges and a lot of airlines doing collaborations, like, for example, with Shake Shack or Magnolia Bakery, and hotels kind of doing different collaborations. I think it's interesting. Like another example that comes to mind is like Mercedes-Benz partnership with a Auberge collection and kind
Yeah.
of like bringing different aspects of hospitality to different parts of the experience
Mm-hmm.
too. I definitely could see that as an area that continues to grow.
I'll give you one with Genesis. Genesis is looking to partner with hotels, and really from looking at it within their dealerships, right? To have their lounge sponsored by an industry, their lounge, and serving, bakery goods, etc., hospitality while getting your car fixed. So you think about that, from a luxury brand perspective, it does make sense to have you treated. We saw with the airline like Delta, I think it was American, at certain airports that you would pay for first class, but you would be whizzed away in a Porsche between gates, right?
Right.
So that partnering in luxury cars, in luxury hospitality, all the way through end to end. We pick you up, we bring you to the airport, you skip the gate, we bring you in a Porsche to your plane. That was the concept in some of the airports. I don't know if it still exists. I haven't had the privilege to do that. I don't know if I travel so much. You let us know.
That's a really good example.
I think Mercedes-Benz wants you to pull in, and then they lift you up to your room, and your car is parked outside your room.
Well,
yeah,
that's
the
an
future.
interesting. So when you look at that ecosystem, that boutique concept that you would get in the boutique, trying to win the customer experience in such a way, luxury. We care about you. We want to pamper you all the way through, all the way into your room. So kind of interesting and to see that trend. So let's swing over from this then. Let's go to you. Here you are. You're in college. And so when you were in college back at Cornell University, did they talk about trends and where we're going, et cetera? And then now you're actually living it because you're post, you graduated, and now you're out in the wild. Now let's talk about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember. So I graduated college in 2020, and AI wasn't anything we discussed. I mean, of course, we talked about forecasting and modeling and I guess the foundational elements of AI, but not Gen AI in any way. And I honestly can't remember kind of I think the experiential economy was a trend that we talked about. Of course, like the disruption of vacation rentals to hotels. But yeah, it is kind of cool to see how quickly things change.
So as this technology evolves, now it's funny you mentioned that about what the Airbnb index about against hotels, right? What's your take on that from a hospitality perspective and the impact of that? Vacation rentals for because now the hotels themselves say, hey, we could do something similar. Right.
Yeah.
And that same type of experience with some type of housing that they would, lease from or with owners through their private chain for the customer experience. What's your thought on that?
Yeah. So actually, earlier in my career, I worked at a vacation rental management company called Avant Stay, and we managed a ton of properties. I think thousands of properties across the U.S. I can't remember how many right now, but it was branded vacation rentals. So they were hoping to bring kind of the benefit of the big chains, knowing if you stayed with one of our properties called Avant Stay, you would there are specific standards that the property would meet. You would know if it was clean, and it was a reputable brand. So it was interesting working kind of at the intersection of that. But yeah, I think it's a good I guess I'm struggling to think of the word. It's a good, I guess, way to kind of push hotels to keep innovating and creating unique experiences for guests and also allowing guests to feel like locals, which I think people really like about Airbnb and vacation rentals.
Yeah, and that where you think about it, it's all about, we used to have the resorts, all inclusive. So this takes it to a combination for a guest experience. So, for example, if someone goes to a Airbnb type of concept, right? Not that Airbnb is going to be the best, but associated, say, with a Ritz-Carlton brand. So the type of home would reflect the Ritz-Carlton brand, right? So you would have that experience in a house with a pool, with a maid, right? With a cook, and maybe with a driver. true luxury end to end associated with the brand that you're associated with. And then, by the way, by staying there and doing that, you're going to get some points too. And you can use the closest amenities of the Ritz Carlton that's close by, in regional sense. What do you think about that? So now,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's. Oh, go ahead.
If the marketing people are listening and then maybe you heard it first right here in the Hospitality Tech Show, a concept.
I love it.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I love this idea. I think it's best case scenario to have your own place and then be able to benefit from all the amenities of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Right in the house and with a pool.
Yeah.
And that's that to me concept. Hopefully one day, hint hint, that'll be a dream come true. So
that residential economy actually is growing significantly, and they're building residences with hotel development. So it's already happening. Developers are seeing that, people that want to downsize also want activity, and they want hotel activity that hotels embrace, which is, you got a food and beverage outlet right there, so if you don't want to, run around with your car and go try to find a place to eat, you've got a really great dining experience as part of your residential location. So I think it's proximity is power in that perspective, but I think developers are seeing this internationally and otherwise. And this is a growing segment. I think we're going to see more of this. This just, how do you bring the experiential economy into it? I mean, Airbnb launched their whole Airbnb experiences. And, once again, hotels are competing and playing catch up. Some hotels are doing it better than others. I know I just finished a little bit of a tour around the world. And when I stayed at the W in Koh Samui, I mean, they had a fire show that night. And it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. And you would probably pay $50 to $100 to get an experience that I got, because as a guest of the hotel, they said, don't forget at check-in, don't forget to come to the fire show at 8:00. We had to wait till it was dark, right? And it was incredible. I think some hotels are doing it really, really well. Maybe it's some brands, but, I feel like the next era, including AI, is to just, how do you exponentially grow these experiences so that guests you maintain your loyalty?
Yes, definitely. And I actually have something to add on this. So I went to the Biz Now conference in New York City a couple weeks ago, and they had a whole panel on exactly what you're talking about, and had a really great group of speakers from Marriott, Union Square Hospitality Group, and a few developers. And they were talking about kind of how this really is the new trend, and how kind of the traditional luxury hotel doesn't really pencil anymore for investors, and how having some sort of residential component and sharing the amenities of the hotel, ideally getting the gym as kind of maybe doing a partnership with Equinox, and if it's in a city, having locals use the gym as well as hotel residents and apartment residents, and kind of to the F&B point too, that hotel restaurants still kind of have a negative reputation, and so they want to create restaurants that feel like it's just truly part of the city, and hotel guests can benefit from being so close to it. So Union Square Hospitality has really been benefiting from this and doing a ton of F&B for big chains like Marriott and others. So totally agree that this is definitely the future of luxury hotels.
I'll give you a concept that seems in going beyond for hospitality. Now, there's a population in the summer, and stay with me on this one, with a food truck every day has a different food truck near the pool every day. You don't want to go to the F&B inside, you can go to the food truck right there at near the pool. What do you think about that?
I love it. I mean,
it's a uniqueness of giving you that sense of partnering with a business, right, in the local community, and allowing and tapping into your guests, but giving your guests a different experience uniquely from the generic type of, I have the restaurant inside, but you have options, and it might be some type of special cuisine relative to the island, a cuisine to the neighborhood, a bakery, but something that's going to give you a different experience. There. So the next question I have for you, and I'm just going to throw it for all of us to have a conversation about, right? And this has been my lately over a couple of episodes about it's robotics. That technology, I want to understand from your perspective, since you graduated in 2020, right? And here we are, coming in the industry, and this technology has just emerged in all kinds of branches, vectors, and that being robotic technology incorporated into food and beverage, into possibly even the services for your room service, etc. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely coming. It seems like it's been a little bit slower to adopt in the US. But I know in China and other countries they're pretty far advanced with robotics.
Mm-hmm.
I went to China in 2018 and I think I asked for a towel and a robot brought it up to the room, which
Wow.
is pretty crazy. It was in 2018, but they're so advanced with robotics over there and many things, of course. But yeah, I think it's definitely the future of hospitality and lots of interesting robotics kind of coming soon. I know that like cocktail assistants for bars, kind of
Right.
prepping the cocktails, pouring drinks, dishwashing, cleaning rooms. There's so many different use cases. So I think it'll definitely kind of help with the labor challenge hotels are facing and also the margin pressure hotels are facing. But also a lot of them are pretty expensive, so I think once prices come down a bit, it'll be more popular.
Well, and that's the issue. A corporate hotel versus a franchise. Franchise traditionally don't make the investment as they should,
Right.
and can, and they're on their close margins and want more in their pocket as opposed to putting money into the hotel that they manage. And I think that they're going to be slow. It's my opinion. I'm going to get yours, and you and Sue, about their adoption of robotic technology. And probably be very slow. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess it just depends. Something that was interesting that one of the speakers at Destination AI mentioned last year was kind of like the cultural barriers to robotic adoption and how they noticed kind of again tying it to China about how they have so many robots in hotels and guests are used to it and treat them well, but sometimes in the US they aren't treated as well, so the investment might not be as worth it. Um, but yeah, I'm really not sure on what types of hotels will adopt them first. I think it also kind of depends on the ownership and if they want to prioritize that. What do you guys think?
Well, Naz, I want to back up just a second. So in 2018, when the robot delivered your towel, what did you think about that experience? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a great
Before
question. I
you
was
hadn't even graduated college yet, and you got this, you're in China and this robot delivers your towel. Like, did you expect that? Or like, what was your thoughts when that happened?
No, I was totally surprised, honestly. Wasn't expecting it at all, but it felt like my whole trip, everything was so technologically advanced there. And I spent a semester in Hong Kong, and so many things about Asia, like so much of their technology was so
Mm-hmm.
advanced. Even the subway system was
Right.
incredible. So I guess it wasn't like super shocking, but I've just never seen that in a hotel before.
Mm.
Have you guys seen that either in the US or anywhere recently?
Well, only on a college campus, and I would just
Okay.
say you at Howard University, Bridgewater State College, and I literally just see these little robots going around delivering food in lately even at Northeastern University. Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? But I mean, now we have, hey, I want a pizza, or I want this, and the robot. I mean, now it's just made the students more lazy. They're not going to go down the street. They're just sitting in their dorm, and hey, and along comes this robot going down the road.
Okay,
It's
but
amazing.
Michael, take that experience. I'm going to go with this here because these are students at college and they're already receiving food and beverage by robot. Now, these kids graduate college
Mhm.
and they go to a hotel
They're
And
going
they're
to
probably wondering where the robots are. You know what I'm
probably
saying?
so. You're
So
right.
what I'm saying is, I think the student population can help push adoption because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
familiar with it. They're not scared of it. And their expectation is going to be, we need this for our guests because this was a convenience for me as a student. I could continue my studies while I had the robot deliver my food rather than having to stop where I was, run out, and have to take care of this or, worry about this. So I feel like this is a good thing that they're on college campuses. And yes, there are robots in hotels in America now, and I work with a robotic company that actually they're in every type of hotel that you can imagine,
Wow.
Residence Inns and otherwise, Choice Hotels, Wyndhams, as well as full service hotels. And they are delivering food, they are delivering towels, and they are saving that guest experience for the human touch, right? So imagine you're the only desk clerk at night at a Residence Inn. I just use this as an example. You got 126 rooms. You're the only desk clerk at night, and a guest calls down for extra towels. Well, you know what they're doing now? They're putting a sign up on the desk saying, "I'll be back momentarily."
Wow.
Taking care of a guest. Well, what kind of experience do you think that is for the guest wanting to check
That's
in?
not good.
That may not have a mobile key option, right? So
Yeah.
not only that, one thing from a security standpoint, those hotels that have that little sign up, some of them are getting robbed. So I'm not laughing about it. I'm just saying the value of robotics is truly there. You don't need a use case or a case study. You need to just start adopting in little ways that are actually going to save you from a risk management standpoint and create a better experience. These robots have these mingle functions now. And you press a button and it stays in the lobby and it twirls around. Kids can play games on it. It sings and, it's all part of the experience and people are talking about it. So imagine what that does from a marketing perspective. Now people are putting that on their Instagram. And so now you're growing your opportunity to advance your brand because people are going to be like, oh, that looks really cool. I want to stay at the robot hotel. So I'm just giving a different perspective, like why there should be adoption for many different strategies than just, oh, it costs too much. Like you're going to get that back tenfold.
But they need to embrace the journey, right? And so you've talked about the front desk, and it's funny how because that's where I want to go to and build our way. So that you've mentioned Sue the card, what did you refer to it as the card access, right?
Oh yeah, mobile key access.
Right,
Yeah,
mobile key access.
Yeah.
Right. So with that said, that's one concept of technology where you go straight to the room. But let's talk about in there in the technology where the person comes to the desk. Do you think the front desk person will be replaced or could be replaced by robotic technology? Or, for example, in some hotels, you're checking in on an iPad or some type of kiosk device. What do you think about that, though, Naz?
Yeah, well, first I want to say I really like your point, Sue, about students driving that forward since they're having it on their college campuses and just kind of getting used to that convenience. And that's something I hadn't thought about before. So very interesting. And then in terms of the front desk, I definitely could see those positions being replaced. And I kind of think of it as how airports now, there's just one or two people there to help you if you're having any issues, but you kind of just do everything on the kiosk, put the tag on your bag and just drop it off. And I could kind of see hotels going in that direction too. Unless it's some uber luxury hotel and they want to greet you with, I don't know, like a pina colada or something. But even then it'll change the experience. So
There's
I
nothing
definitely
wrong.
think,
I mean, I
yeah.
was in Naples and I was greeted with a nice
You
champagne.
had champagne, didn't you, Michael?
I just thought it was I was beside myself. I mean, I walked in and she was there gracefully. Would you like one, sir? Welcome. I was impressed.
I love it.
We were talking
every
about that,
hotel
and
should
he
do that.
got champagne, and I was in Indonesia and got elderberry made from the local flowers that were there.
Oh, wow.
They colored it, and so we were chatting about the differences, but it was still pretty cool to get served that at a
Exactly.
ride.
Here you get off a flight and it's like, welcome. They didn't just give you water. They gave you champagne. This is great. Give me another one while you're at it. So before I even get to my room. So yeah, we're coming up on, we got about 20 minutes left. I want to make sure we cover a lot of ground here. We've talked about the OTAs. We've talked about the technology. We've talked about robotic. And we talked AI. Let's talk about this area that seems to be the back office, the change in the back office, all right, and the technology that has emerged, AI included. What's your thoughts on that, about that change coming in the back office? Good, bad,
Yeah,
not really, struggling? What's the deal?
I think there's so many opportunities in the back office for AI. Yeah, just so many different opportunities. I think something that's interesting to me is the maintenance component. And I know Hyatt is doing this and maybe some other brands too. And I thought this was really cool that they have goggles or glasses that anyone can wear. And if an elevator is broken, it kind of sees what's going on and can guide them through fixing it or really fixing anything. But I think that's a super cool technology.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of things are being built in so that people can speak in their native languages with these devices too, which is amazing. And then in other cool back office things I've seen beyond kind of like maintenance is procurement tools to I guess what's the word, automate all of that. Labor tools to help recruiters and streamline those processes, accounting. So yeah, I think there's so much opportunity in almost every aspect of the back office. What
Do you
have
think it's going to
you
be
seen
automated?
that's what?
You think it's going to be automated? I mean, and removing that accountant for reconciliation and the bookkeeper at night that's reconciling all the bills, etc. What's your thought on that? Would you expand on that one?
I mean, I think realistically, I don't think all positions will be eliminated, but I think many will be in one person can handle a lot more when so much is being automated.
Okay.
That's what I see realistically. What do you two see there?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think what's interesting in this, I talked to several people about this. As I said, one thing that I hear is all the AI adoption, which is great, but who's talking about upskilling the current workforce? So I think there needs to be some focus on training and development to bridge the gap between AI and what it's going to take the place of, which is your repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
And how do you upskill the employees to add higher value? So yes, you can throw AI in there and go, oh, we've added AI. Our employees are working at a higher value. Well, really? What are they doing? What are they doing differently, except you've given them more time to play on the phone or do whatever? So I don't know. I'm backing up a little bit to go forward to say AI adoption, take the place of repetitive tasks. Great. How about the attention on the employees that we have trained to do the repetitive tasks and have given them congratulations? You are meeting the brand standard, because instead of taking care of the guest in front of you, you're making them wait so you can comply with the brand standard that says, I have to answer the phone in 3 rings or I'm going to get dinged on the brand standard. So now flip it forward. You have AI answering the phone now. Okay. So now you're in a position to take care of the guests that you haven't been in a position to do before. So who is addressing the training for conflict resolution and empathy and, creative thinking, and how do I help solve this problem that they haven't had to do before? So I'm all in on AI, but I think we can't leave the employees behind.
No, we can't. And I think it's retooling, recalibrating them as to how they can do their job in hospitality to enhance the customer experience.
Right.
And I think at that lower level in the colleges, I think the mindset has to change. That the job is not going to be, really stuck at the front desk or rotating out in different parts, but also focusing on. I think the focus is all about the customer experience. being around,
Exactly.
being visible, greeting them, making them feel like they're being pampered and paid attention to, and not being a fixture somewhere where they come to you, you go to them.
What
You
do
know,
you think, Naz?
Yeah, I mean, I hear this a lot that it's kind of about freeing up the staff to take care of the guests and improve the guest experience. But then I also worry that, you're freeing up so much time that it'll eliminate some roles. So it's definitely a tough balance, but I do think it's really important for hotel companies to prioritize their employees. And now that people can do so many more things than maybe they could before, just it could even improve job satisfaction if you're not just doing the same activity every single day and you can try out different things, interact more with guests. So I agree. It just needs to be a focus, coming from the brands and owners. And um, it's definitely a challenging time to navigate, but
hmm.
um,
I
yeah.
feel like I feel like I feel like this is an exciting time. So if I were a student now graduating, this is one of the most exciting times to be in hospitality because not only are you going to be kind of the voice of the future, so to speak, because of what you've been through at college, but you are going to be at the table and people are going to be saying, what do you think we should be doing next? Because these kids that are growing up now already are very comfortable with technology. So, and they might have even built their own bots. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, what I think is exciting about students entering now is I think they can accelerate their growth to a leadership position much faster because they're not stuck doing repetitive tasks that they have to get an A+ on, so to speak, right? And they can grow and they will have greater opportunities to have an ambitious lifestyle and journey in hospitality. I think they're going to get to the top faster. That's what I think.
Yeah, I totally agree that they're going to add a really important perspective. And even like kind of what you said about the robots, I think they'll be training teams that are already on property and teaching them new things and yeah, helping shape the future of hospitality. I agree. It's a very exciting time.
One of the things at the hotel, especially with the luxury brands, is to this technology is going to free up the GM to be more visible to the guest. You know, love to see and incorporate, and then marketing people if you're listening, if they're where the GM picks at random a family to have dinner with or lunch with on the hotel. Join me for dinner. All right. And he's at the gym. I mean, would it be nice? I mean, to feel that way, a uniqueness of having that experience with your assistant GM or GM to host the family at random. You just pick them, who's here, and I think that'll go a long way with knowing that they really care. Yeah, again, you go to where the customer is. All right, and you really make them feel special. So let me give you guys some stats on it. I just another one that I had. AI, it says here AI adoption in hospitality expected to change hiring patterns more than eliminate the industry workforce outright. The projection across hotels, restaurants, and travel operations is a shift towards leaner operations plus higher skilled staffing rather than mass replacement. Front desk and reservations, it says a flat to modest decline. Revenue management, strong growth. Guest experience roles, growth.
Yep.
Hospitality tech, significant growth.
Yeah.
Housekeeping, continued demand. Food and beverage, moderate growth. Hotel operations and managers, evolving role. And then AI training in the compliance roles, emerging category.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the trends there, and it's kind of interesting to see how this is all materializing. And I'd be interested to see where this will go, how rapid it will be with the change. It's just recalibrating, reallocating your resources, changing the mindset from an education which you learned in school to where you are. I'm sure what you learned in school is different than what you're doing today. What do you think, that on that with all that?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. The one that kind of surprised me was the revenue management growing. Why do you think that is?
That's a good question.
There's AI models out there now that are very predictive. They even take into consideration weather. It's great.
Interesting.
Right, that's what I
I
thought.
managed airport properties, and so the weather was a huge factor in whether you had distressed passengers or not. So yes, the revenue management is evolving very, very quickly, and decisions are being made a lot quicker than waiting for a revenue manager to figure it out. Not only that, revenue management teams typically have anywhere from 10 to 15, sometimes more hotels, and they're in tertiary markets. They're not, the revenue manager doesn't even live there. So I think this is a huge bolster for the revenue management team to take on additional hotels, and then have a little AI buddy with them, helping them get the right data to the right people. I think it's great.
Well, this is what it says. It says AI pricing systems still need human oversight, and that's the impact.
Yep.
Makes sense.
No. So that makes a lot of sense. And so, again, human oversight, the human in the loop type of concept. So we're coming up on the top of the hour, and we've been chugging away, and it's been a great conversation. Wasn't bad, right, Naz?
Yeah, not bad.
And
I have a burning question, Naz, though. I do. Michael, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Burning question. Naz,
Yes.
if you were an asset manager now, what would be your top priorities?
Oh, that's such a tough question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean it to be tough, but I'm like, based upon how fast technology is growing, like maybe I should ask it differently. Where would you put your efforts now if you were fast forward now, if you were an asset manager now?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great question, not necessarily. I mean, there's just so much that I would be focused on compared to what I was doing like 4 or 5 years ago. I think number one would be visibility on AI platforms and direct booking links. And then kind of everything we've talked about. I think, yeah, I think it would also, of course, depend on the type of hotels that I was the asset manager for, but I think so many things we've talked about I'd want to implement at the hotels. And I guess also just maintaining a good culture and making sure that all the employees feel like they're equipped for this new AI era and not scared about losing their jobs. Yeah, so much to focus on right now. It's a tough job to be in.
Well, have you ever been to the Apollo Theater? The person kind of takes you off stage. Well, the music is playing, and we're up to the top.
Yeah, the music was distracting me a little.
So it's been a pleasure to have you.
The hook's about to come out. Is that what you're saying, Michael?
So I hope to have you back, and to our audience, thank you for tuning in to us when you have the opportunity to listen to us. And thank you to our Workforce Montgomery, our sponsors, Workforce Montgomery, and Integrity Restaurant Group, the NIBM, and also, Susan, it's always a pleasure to be working with you here on this show.
Likewise.
So for episode 30th, it's been great. Naz, come back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was really fun and a lot of interesting topics we discussed. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the Hospitality Creator Show soon.
And same with
that'll be fun. Co-located with high tech. It'll be good. It'll be a good week in San Antonio.
Yes.
So until next time.
Can't wait.
Right. So I can't wait to come back here too. Right. On camera. All right.
Sounds good.
So great. So until next time, you can see us on Instagram, YouTube, and also on all kinds of platforms, including that of LinkedIn, and hopefully others in the future, including that of Facebook. I'm Michael Woodson, together with my host, Susan Graves. Until next time, same channel, that channel, the Hospitality Tech Show channel. Have a good night. Bye-bye.